talk to me a little bit more about Satwa. I know they do social impact work, right? What does that mean? Can you explain that first? Who are the typical clients? Second, uh, what are the projects like?
Okay, let me give you broader cohorts to start off with, right? And then there are quite a few, so just bear with me on that, right? The first is actually nonprofits.
Okay,
There are like a lot of nonprofits globally in India that are doing some phenomenal work, and really looking at a nonprofit and saying, "Hey, can we?" And like I don't know if you know about this, but Akshay Patra became the first nonprofit in India to hit 1,000 crores in top line.
okay,
This is like a crazy number to
yeah,
hit as well, and this is a dated news, by the way. This is when I was in Satwa, then is when I heard. So it's 1.5 years old at the bare minimum, right? Um, and so there are nonprofits. Like Akshay Patra is just one example that I'm giving, but there are a bunch of nonprofits that are out there. And without giving out the names of clients that Satwa had, I think the work falls across the following, right? One is really M&E and monitoring and evaluation is a big thing in India and globally as well. If I'm investing 100 rupees in a program, what is the return that I'm getting on it? And unlike the traditional segment of management consulting, the return is either growth in top line or growth in bottom line, right? Or something along those lines, or something in the middle, top line versus bottom line, right? And something in the middle sandwiched. Here, the objective is okay, how many lives did I impact? And what is the input, output, and outcome level metric that I achieved? Input is, say, just taking a very simplistic example, input is I provided books in a school. So
okay,
that's the input going in. Output is, say, now the attendance rate has increased in the school. More children are able to attend school. Outcome is, hey, student learning outcomes, which are measured through different assessments, have gone up in India. So that's the input, output, outcome level I'm looking at. That's the core, right? And what is my per beneficiary cost that is associated with it as well? So to improve X indicator, my cost is say 100 rupees per beneficiary, right? So really building a monitoring and eval, and this is a very simplistic example. There's obviously a lot more that goes into it, right? M&E is one thing, and this is one bucket is functional capability building. M&E is one sub bucket of functional capability building.
okay. Got
And
explain functional capability building. Sorry.
so M&E is one muscle that a company needs to have or a nonprofit needs to have. Similarly, fundraising, right? Because for
Okay,
nonprofits, fundraising is a key muscle to have. That's another functional capability building aspect. Similarly, there is more, right? So HR or people is another, right? And so on and so forth. So this is the functional capability building bucket for a
okay,
nonprofit, right?
okay,
Similarly, there is another bucket for a nonprofit, which is, hey, can I define a programmatic strategy? Say a nonprofit wants to look at, has access to 100 crores in funding and wants to invest that in increasing, say, healthcare outcomes in the state of in Chandigarh. I'm from Chandigarh, so just taking that as an example. 100 crores need to go into Chandigarh, and nonprofit has access to that funding, so they can actually look at collaborating with Safa and saying, "Hey, how do I actually look at deploying this 100 crores? Where should I deploy them? How should they be used? Where, from what intervention should they go to? What is the outcome that I would get out of it? What is my 5 year roadmap for it? How would I scale this? How would I pilot this? All of the program design and program strategy flows into it, right? Really, that's the second thing, right? The third thing is all at an organizational level. Say the nonprofit now says, hey, I have today 10 programs running across all states and union territories of India, and I want to figure out where do I go from where I am today and where I can be in the next 5 years. So really building out, okay, what are the choices that the organization needs to make to actually look at, okay, do they want to continue with the breadth of work that they have? Do they want to go global? Do they want to stay in India? Do they want to look at depth? Do they want to go deeper into a particular place, and so on and so forth? So that's one example for a non-profit. These are the three broad buckets that exist,
got
right?
it. So just to summarize, first is the functional capability where you are building capabilities for that firm. It could be monitoring and evaluation, fundraising, HR people, essentially helping them in their core activities as a non-profit. Second is designing programs for them which will lead to the best outcome whatever they're looking for. And third is organizational level, how do you grow that organization, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Got
This is just one of the several buckets, right? That's
it.
This is just for nonprofits.
Okay,
Now there is global and domestic philanthropy.
okay,
So there are a lot of global foundations that are doing some phenomenal work, like your Gates Foundations of the world, right? That's one. Similarly, there are a lot of domestic foundations that are also doing some crazy work.
okay.
So that's the second bucket, which is the global and domestic philanthropy.
One question before we actually even go on. What is the difference between a non-profit and a philanthropy?
Okay, so philanthropy is the larger bucket. There is philanthropic. There are grant makers, right? Which is basically grant makers are people who have access to money. So something like the Gates Foundation has access to money. They pump in that money towards different initiatives, and
Okay.
they identify right partners to pull off those initiatives. So they act as thought partners plus financial partners for the
NGOs.
organization, right?
For
Yeah,
NGOs. Okay,
yeah.
got it.
I don't know how exactly Gates Foundation operates. I'm just taking that as an example, but that's
Got it.
a good
Got
example because they do a lot of crazy systemic work.
it. Got it. Cool. So second is
And
global.
NGOs more or less tend towards more implementation heavy work.
Got it.
But there are different kinds of NGOs as well, right? There are think tanks as well that work on thought leadership, research. There are implementation NGOs, a lot of them. Then there are other different types of NGOs as well, but more or less you'll find them in the implementation category.
Got it. Sounds good. So yeah, coming back to the second point which you were speaking about, global and domestic philanthropy. What kind of work would you do there?
So this actually goes on the flip side, right? So the work would be similar across three buckets as well. And I'm not sure what Satwa is doing now because I've
Yeah,
left Satwa for a year. But broadly speaking, what it would look like for any social impact consulting firm to look at domestic/global foundation, right? The kind of support that global/domestic foundations need is, hey, I have 100 crores, where should I put it?
yeah. Okay. So
Right?
more
So
like
that's
program design.
program design, but also then the program management support for it as well. Say, I've deployed 100 crores across 10 organizations, 10 different organizations, 10 different nonprofits. Can you actually help work them out?
Got it.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's there. Similarly, functional capability building a muscle organization level. Where should they actually go towards in the next 5 years?
Got it. Understood. So broadly the same kind of work, but probably at a larger scale since it's a
So
organization,
it
depending on the size of the
Yeah, it
philanthropy.
changes, right? In a nonprofit, it's more implementation heavy slash advocacy heavy slash there are a bunch of different angles attached to it. On the other side, which is the funder side, it is more to say, okay, I have 100 crores, where should I deploy it? Right? And then it starts one step before,
Got
more
it.
like that.
Yeah, sounds good. So first is non-profit, second is global and domestic philanthropy. What are the
And yeah, and there are also global and domestic foundations that look at implementation as well. So it's not that they don't.
yeah,
There are hybrid structures as well that exist, right? Third is the CSR category. So in India, the corporate social responsibility law comes into effect. So a lot of not a lot, but all of the corporates that pass a particular threshold have to contribute a percentage of their profits to social impact initiatives. So that's the CSR angle there. The fourth one is social enterprises. So these are for-profit entities that have a social cause attached to them. So like okay, I'd probably stick away from examples, but basically for-profit entities that have a social impact angle attached to them. So, for example, responsible sourcing, right? I look at procuring a raw material from responsible sources, convert that into, say, responsible products, and then sell them off. That's a example of a social enterprise, right?
something like a Patagonia, is it?
I don't know what Patagonia is.
Patagonia is a US firm. Essentially, they make essentially making for-profit products. I could be making a jeans or a t-shirt, but I'm using the material that I'm using. I'm making sure I am socially responsible. Correct?
Yeah, more or less along those lines. There are definitely more layers to the layers that come to it, but that's another category as well. And then finally, looking at government institutions as well.
Okay. Talk a bit more about government institutions. Like, what kind of work would government institutions be looking at?
See, government institutions require similar support, right? Say they want to strengthen the data and analytics capability in the State Department or in a block department, a block or a district or a state or or the center, right? They want support with strengthening how they can actually look at um, assessments and then how they can look at data and then how they can look at generating insight and then how they can look at deploying interventions as well. So, for example, if I just take the example of say health, right? In healthcare, how many deliveries are happening every day? What is the vaccine rate? And there are definitely a bunch of other indicators that are also involved with it. And then looking at aggregating that from a village level to a district level to village, block, district, then state, and then looking at okay, hey, if our vaccine rate is actually not up to the mark, what should we do at a state level, top down, to actually increase the vaccination rate?
Yeah, got
Yeah.
it. Essentially, okay. So, looking at social topics at a state or a district level, which the government might be solving for. How do you know how is that different from, let's say, the governance consulting firms like Samagra? Because I know
Very
they
similar.
very similar,
Very similar.
right?
Very similar.
Understood. Sounds good. So I think very clear picture, five, six types of clients that a social impact consulting firm would look at: non-profit, philanthropic organizations, foundations, CSR, social enterprises, and government institutions. Right?
Nonprofits, global and domestic philanthropy, CSR, social enterprises, and government institutions are broad five buckets.
Understood.